also want to take you to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington today to address a joint session of Congress. Netanyahu is seeking to shore up American support for the war in Gaza. Protests have already erupted outside his hotel on Capitol Hill and even inside a congressional office building, prompting several arrests. So let's bring Jay back and ABC's contributor Mark Updegrove. Jay, what are things like there on Capitol Hill this morning ahead of Netanyahu's speech?
Security is very tight, Diane. They have those barricades up, those metal barricades that surrounded the Capitol complex in the immediate aftermath of January 6th. You can't get into any of these congressional office buildings today without a badge, meaning staff or press or someone else who works here. That protest that you were just showing video of, that was actually right below us. That video was stuff that we shot looking down on that demonstration that was in the rotunda here below us. It was unexpected, and one of the reasons why it was thought that it occurred yesterday is because the Capitol is now closed to visitors today. So there are widespread demonstrations expected in Washington, D.C. It's unclear how close they will get to the Capitol building where Netanyahu is giving that address. But I can tell you that there are also points of tension between lawmakers here. We expect a handful of Republicans and dozens upon dozens of Democrats to skip Netanyahu's remarks in protest over Israel's handling of the war in Gaza. Speaker Mike Johnson has said to the guests of lawmakers in the chamber and to the lawmakers who are going to be in that chamber that he will not tolerate interruptions or demonstrations while Netanyahu is speaking, and that people will be removed, including if they are elected officials, if they interrupt.
Mark, how rare is it for a leader like this to address a joint session of Congress? And what are you listening for in Netanyahu's speech today?
It does not happen that often. It happens with very important leaders who come and address a joint session of Congress. That's a big deal. And it's particularly a big deal now with the Israel-Gaza war, so controversial, particularly, as you can see from that footage, among young people. We saw those demonstrations roll out across campuses in the United States in the spring, and it was fraught politically, particularly for university presidents. It's also obviously fraught for our politicians. It's going to be a major issue in the presidential race later this year. In order to galvanize, in order to motivate the youth vote, our politicians are going to have to, our candidates are going to have to do some calculus about what the best stance is relating to Israel and Gaza. So I am listening for how obstinate Netanyahu is. He has been characteristically sort of truculent relating to policy in the Middle East. He has been resistant to U.S. Leadership relating to the war. So I'm listening to the tone of Netanyahu today to see what that indicates about his direction in the war, Diane.
And Mark, Vice President Harris is the president of the Senate. She won't be in attendance today, but we have learned that she'll meet with Netanyahu tomorrow. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that's really important. Biden becomes a lame duck president. In not running again, he does not have as much power legislatively. He doesn't have as much power with foreign leaders who are looking to the next leader, the next occupant of the White House. You're going to see both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris reaching out to Netanyahu to engender a relationship with him if they don't already have one. Again, that policy is very delicate. It always has been, and it particularly is now with the war in Gaza. So it'll be, I'm not sure we will know the substance of that closed-door session, but it will be vital if Kamala Harris is to continue on as president, succeeding Joe Biden in the White House, Diane.
All right, Jay O'Brien, Mark Updegrove, thank you both.